Perfect. Okay, let's get started. Welcome everyone to this month's Entrepreneurial Support Organization webinar. I'm Lisa DeJohn, Executive Director of the Innovation Hubs with KSTC, and of course, our partner is the team with Kentucky Innovation within the Cabinet for Economic Development. As you know, the monthly agenda for all of our hub leaders and their hub partners, as well as entrepreneurs and founders, startups, investors, et cetera, around the state, join us on a monthly basis so that we can learn about statewide initiatives and updates, where we can learn from resource and subject matter experts on a particular area that's beneficial to the advancement of startups in our state. And we'd love to hear from one highlighted hub about their latest events, programs, or highlights that they'd like to share with everyone today. So with that, we will go ahead and get started. And it's my pleasure to now introduce, of course, Tony Ellis, Executive Director of Kentucky Innovation with the Cabinet.
Thank you, Lisa, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to our March All Kentucky ESO call. This is now the third time that we've done this, and we are very excited to see how these are developing, and what we always believed was how useful they could be to the entire community. So I've done the opening for these calls the past few times, and now today, this call is going to be a little bit different, as today marks my last presentation to you as a member of both the Cabinet for Economic Development and KY Innovation. It has been an extreme pleasure to serve in these roles, basically for the past 2.5 years, and to get to know everyone in the community. It's been incredible to see how this community has come together during some of the most challenging circumstances for any organization, with COVID and the economic fallout from that, and our inability to meet or gather in person, particularly given the upheaval that occurred during the few years leading up to COVID. And now, as I look back and think about what all of you have accomplished and what this team has accomplished, I know that I am leaving this in a much, much better place, with an incredible organization of dedicated people who look to the future and see the same thing that I see, which is how bright Kentucky's future is for the entrepreneurial community. It is also my great pleasure to announce that we have hired Monique Quarterman to be the Deputy Director of KY Innovation, and she will be beginning on April 1st. So anything that you're looking at or looking forward past basically March 25th, which is my last day, I'd encourage you to reach out to Monique or David Brock or Angelica to talk to them about these issues. I know that they're ready and dedicated and excited to serve the community and keep the momentum going. I will also just make a couple very short announcements before turning it back over to Lisa, who is another member of the team that has joined within the past few months, and that we've really seen do a phenomenal job in bringing the hubs together and getting these types of presentations organized. So I will briefly talk about the legislative update, because we also do government affairs. We are now on day 49 of 60. The legislative session technically runs through April 15th, but almost everything is going to be done by March 31st. Our last opportunity and real opportunity to communicate with the legislature is the very exciting upcoming Entrepreneurship Day, which I'm sure other people will talk about, but that's set for March 24th. It's an opportunity to come, meet the legislators, gather with them. There will be presentations, proclamations, an opportunity to meet with the governor, and that's scheduled for March 24th. The budget, which is the big thing that I'm sure so many of us are interested in, has still not been passed. The Senate has released their version. They did it last week. And we are pleased to see that the Senate, the governor, and the House budget all essentially keep things going in the same direction for entrepreneurial programs. So we anticipate having roughly the same amount of funding for next year as we had for this year, which was already a substantial increase over 2020 funding. So we're excited to see that. A couple deadline things that I just want to make note of. the angel tax credit, that's continuing to be available. It's re-up now with the new year. There's plenty of availability. So if you are working with a company that is raising money, please make sure that they're aware of the angel tax credit as a tool that they can use to help gain more money in their raise or make it easier to find investors. And with that, again, it's been an incredible opportunity serving in this role, getting to know everyone. I won't be leaving the area. I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm taking a job as the general counsel of Vsoft Consulting, which is an IT and tech company based in Louisville, with a group of people I'm really excited to join. So if you need anything or you want to reach out, I'll be local. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Tony. And two things I'll say. First of all, on behalf of the entire Innovation Hub community and on behalf of all of our Innovation Hub leaders, startups, all of our partners, we so very much appreciate your leadership over the last few years, your guidance, your enthusiasm and support. And I think what comes to mind, at least for me, is your continual drive and for wanting Kentucky to be just the most amazing state in support of entrepreneurship and investment in startups here. So we thank you for your leadership, your commitment in public service, and we wish you all the very best as you transition to Vsoft. So another very entrepreneurially minded and fast growth company. Congratulations to you on this next chapter. And we're so very glad that you're still here and perhaps a little bit closer to home and your family. So thank you so much. Wonderful. All right, let's move on. And our featured presenter for today, I'm happy to introduce to you Michelle DeJohn. She's the Executive Director of the Kentucky Career Center, Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services. That particular office is within the Cabinet for Education and Workforce Development. And as I stop sharing, she's going to go ahead and pull up her slides to get ready while I give her some introduction and share her background with all of you. Michelle, if you want to go ahead and pull up your slides. And in the meantime, you all should know that she has 20+ years of workforce development leadership experience. And as I mentioned, she's the Executive Director of the Kentucky Career Centers. In addition to working within Kentucky state government, Michelle also has experience in the private sector in human resources and training. If you're not familiar with the Kentucky Career Center, and I won't steal her thunder, but it is a one-stop hub for all businesses pertaining to workforce initiatives. So as companies, as early stage businesses, you know, are in dire need of some great talent and access to workforce at all levels with varying skill sets, the Kentucky Career Centers can be an invaluable resource for assistance in that area, either to you as a hub leader or directly for the business themselves. They continue to connect a very diverse pool of job seekers to local employers that are engaged in hiring. And they also work to help companies diversify their workforce as they connect them to access individuals that may be disabled or veterans or seeking re-entry into the workforce. Michelle is a New York native, and she holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and education from the State University of New York. And she happens to live in Versailles, Kentucky. So Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. And if you'd like to go ahead, and as we talked about, a little background, I talked to Michelle about the fact that so many of our early stage companies, as they are recruiting and looking for talent and perhaps finding it difficult to find the talent and the skill sets that they require, what are some additional resources that can help a business and a startup invest in their pipeline of talent through potentially apprenticeship programs, internship programs, and as we discussed, there are available incentives for these types of things. So I will turn it over to Michelle.
Super. Thank you again, Lisa, for having me. A little screen check. Can you see my slides and can you hear me okay?
We sure can. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you again for having the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services. We are one office of many offices in the Kentucky Career Center ecosystem of workforce services. And I'd like to share with everyone that the Kentucky Career Center has a full career seeker side of the house of services for career seekers, but there is also a menu of services for employers and businesses of the Commonwealth. In the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services, I like to call us the connectors with my graphic here. We are connectors for employers to help in recruitment, training, and incentives. We are also the state approving agency for registered apprenticeship. I tell employers or ask, has this been working for you and your workforce needs? Many employers, no, it's not working. So connect with your Kentucky Career Center or connect with the Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services for workforce services. Who we are and what do? We bring solutions to employers of the Commonwealth. There is a whole behind the scenes networks of state agencies, community colleges, Cabinet for Workforce Development, Chamber of Commerce. There is a team behind the businesses of the Commonwealth. And I tell employers we bring solutions, and one solution were extensions to your human resource needs in the Commonwealth. How do we do it? We do it with what we call a workforce consultant position, a self-described human Google to help employers, all sizes employers, from startups to single-based employers. No size doesn't matter to us. We call them workforce development consultants, liaisons to employers and the workforce needs. And I'm pretty sure we'll be sharing this information with you, but this link will connect you to a workforce development consultant to help recruit military veterans, help in diversity hiring, dislocated workers. I call it the hidden untapped talent to workforce needs. Here's a map. We are a statewide. We provide services all across the state. There is a workforce development consultant serving every county of the Commonwealth, along with the staff's contact information. And one thing I want you to remember, if you're in Western Kentucky, Naomi Sutton would be able to assist you. If you're in Eastern Kentucky, Jenny Hampton would continue. The one thing to take away from today's presentation, if you have a workforce need, just email us at workforce@koi.gov, and we will work with you in getting you to the right solution to the workforce need. What do we do for talent acquisition or helping employers connect with career seekers? We provide recruitment, screening, hiring events, outreach. We also help employers connecting to the state's labor exchange called, it's a focused suite of systems. There's one platform for career seekers, a platform for employers, and a platform for career exploration. We can assist in providing technical assistance and connecting to that. But we also provide applicant pre-screening assessments if you need customized testing or outreach in talent acquisition services. But the key thing, as Lisa was talking about, is connecting you to hidden workers or the hidden talent or the untapped talent of the Commonwealth. The binoculars aren't working for employers, and I tell employers that we're just not looking in the right places, and we can help you connect. We can help employers of all sizes connect with veterans through the 2 military bases, and here's the number of folks transitioning from the military bases. If you'd like to work with or deliver the difference, individuals with disabilities, justice involved, and here's some data to show you that there is hidden workers here in the Commonwealth. Refugees, Kentucky is the 4th in the US for refugee resettlement. So if you'd like to meet your workforce needs through connecting with this group, we can connect you that. individuals seeking high school diplomas, and then also through the Career Center, the long-term unemployed. So I like to tell employers to consider the hidden workers or the untapped talent. We also provide, if there is a layoff or downsizing anywhere in the Commonwealth, this office provides the outplacement services to when there is a layoff or reduction in force. So, and our goal is to connect that workforce with their next employer as quickly as you can. So that's how we connect you with dislocated workers. We also provide the consultants for across the state, provide all employers of all sizes labor market information. These are the labor market resources they have, from job posting data to commuting patterns, or if you'd like your position description looked at, the Career Center consultant can help you in analyzing and comparing, providing mapping tools. And by the way, all of the services of this office are provided to all employers at no cost. We also provide customized or work-based training resources to employers, on-the-job training, incumbent worker training. We connect employers to our friends at the Cabinet for Economic Development with the Bluegrass State Skills and Trains funding. We work with the Department of Labor in safety training. So if training is a need for you as an employer or as a business of the Commonwealth, please connect with us. Have you ever heard of the skills gap, or if you are looking for what we call essential skills training? If you have a workforce training need of bringing or upskilling your workers or getting training, the state will provide access to the WIN Career Readiness system, which provides training in essential skills or college readiness in these courses. And we provide those to any employer or any citizens of the Commonwealth who's not in the school districts, access to this training system or this upskilling for no cost. So here's a link to look at the specifics if you'd like a demo, or if you'd like to be connected to free essential skills training or college readiness training. And as an employer of the Commonwealth, if you'd like to work with your employees, even if it's one employee, and getting the employee the Kentucky Essential Skills credential, this system provides that for you. We also work with ACT, and if you require a national career readiness in your hiring needs, and you post your job with us, and you require applied math or workplace documents or graphic literacy, we can pay for the assessment for this particular credential. But I think, as Lisa had referenced, one of the important services to talk to you about is Kentucky's Registered Apprenticeship Program. We are the state approving agency for apprenticeship. What is registered apprenticeship? And as startup agencies or smaller businesses, registered apprenticeship can also help you for your workforce needs. If it's just one apprentice, or if it's two apprentices, if it's a group of 20 apprentices. What registered apprenticeship does is it combines the on-the-job training, learning from doing the job, and the knowledge aspect of the occupation. And you as a business or an employer of the Commonwealth could provide your employee, if it's an existing employee or new employee, a credential in that particular occupation or the skills that your business needs. I tell employers all the time, there's that vicious cycle of hiring and losing folks. And when you lose that institutional knowledge, you have that workforce pain point of playing catch up. So instead, let's change the cycle. Consider registered apprenticeship, where you're always growing your own talent and meeting your workforce needs. I'd love to meet with anyone, even in a startup or small business, about a registered apprenticeship program. It allows the employers to design their own training and tailor to their business needs. And what's interesting about, or in the state of Kentucky, we're a state approving agency. The Department of Labor has over 14,000 occupations already classified as apprenticeable occupations, which an employer can modify up to 25%. But here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, if you have an occupation that hasn't been determined apprenticeable, we can work with you as a state approving agency to write and develop the occupation, the related technical instruction, and the on-the-job training for that occupation to meet your business needs. And it can be approved as a registered apprenticeship program. It realigns the education system, and after the completion of the registered apprenticeship program, the apprentice receives an industry recognized credential. Registered apprenticeship is a workforce solution that meets recruitment, training, and retention needs of employers of all sizes. Why do employers need registered apprenticeship? Of course, we assist. It brings quality. There are some incentives for participating in registered apprenticeship. If you are a registered apprenticeship sponsor and your apprentice has Kentucky Educational Scholarship Funds, registered apprenticeship is approved for reimbursement with the Kentucky Educational Scholarship Funds. So if your apprentice has a cost for any related technical instruction, they can be reimbursed through the Kentucky Educational Scholarship. And also, as the state approving agency for registered apprenticeship, if the state were to be awarded funds, all of our registered apprenticeship sponsors would be notified of incentive funds for participation in the program. Registered apprenticeship is a solution for employers who are having retention needs. Nationally, it's at 94% of retention rate. Here in Kentucky, it's at 87.12%. So if you want to grow your own and keep your own workforce, consider registered apprenticeship. Here's where registered apprenticeship is here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The blue dots are state registered apprenticeship programs. The orange triangles are nationally registered apprenticeship programs. So it's growing every day in Kentucky. And I'm not going to read all these numbers, but we'll provide you the success. Here's the numbers of registered apprenticeship. Completers have increased over the last 5 years. Registered apprenticeship salaries range from $45,000 to $72,000. In 2009, our highest one-year retention is at 87.2%. And even after 10 years, we're seeing that our registered apprenticeship completers are are still employed in their industry and making a pretty self-sustaining wage. And of course, registered apprenticeship, there's the myth out there that it's just for the skilled trades. No, registered apprenticeship is across all occupations, from the horse industry to the distillers industry to manufacturing, computers and IT, office. It's growing every day in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We're growing in the healthcare and social sciences. But to show success of apprenticeship here in the Commonwealth, registered apprenticeships in the utilities industry are earning over $100,000 at 3 and 5 years out. Here's what the credential looks at the completion of a registered apprenticeship program. And what registered apprenticeship is, it's an agreement between the employer and the state that you agree to provide related technical instruction and on-the-job training for an occupation, and it becomes nationally recognized. And I believe registered apprenticeship can help even a startup, a small employer, and I'd love to talk to you more about registered apprenticeship. And as Lisa had talked about, there's in this information, there's clearly registered apprenticeship versus internship. I see internship, but as the Office of Apprenticeship, I'll provide you the differences between registered apprenticeship and internships, length variations. Internship, of course, can meet a workforce need at a single point in time, but if you're looking to make a long-term permanent change in your workforce, consider registered apprenticeship. Lastly, I'm going to bring up my summary of overview of our offices to talk about incentives of our office. The Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program, of course, is an incentive could be used for an apprenticeship, but the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program is a federal national program to incentivize employers from hiring from specific targeted groups. Did you know if you bring on anyone listed on a food stamp case with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, you could be eligible for $2,400 off what you owe the IRS at the end of the tax year. We are the state workforce agency for the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program. And even smaller businesses and business size doesn't matter. If you hire an individual and you submit a request for certification within 28 days of the employee's start their workday, you could receive a certificate of this office to file for a credit with the IRS. We've simplified this process in an automated system. Eligibility, often employers say, well, I don't know if they're eligible. Even if you think they're eligible, we will do all of the verifying in this office. So many employers include that there's two forms, an IRS 8850 and a ETA 9061 are the federal forms for this program. But you don't have to mail them in anymore. You can submit your information through the watsi.ky.gov system. And I'm very proud of the team here. There's no backlog in the Commonwealth of Kentucky in processing tax credit applications. The team here does a killer job. If you hire from an individual from the Cabinet for Health and Family Services groups, a TANF recipient, a food stamp recipient, we do a data exchange every day. You can have your certificate for your tax credit to file the very next day. So there's no backlog in the Commonwealth for the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program. So there's more information on these links, or if you'd like assistance in learning more about tax incentives, please reach out to us at workforce@ky.gov. There's a state unemployment tax credit through the state of Kentucky. You could receive a $100 tax credit if you hire a Kentucky resident who has been unemployed for 60 days and they're on your payroll for 180 days. We also process them. Unfortunately, that's a paper system. I haven't automated it. I haven't brought it into the 20th century. I'm hoping to in the near future do that for you. So the final incentive I have for everyone, Lisa, is Kentucky Fair Chance bonding. This is a highly successful program. Fidelity insurance bonds. I can give you an insurance bond to protect you against larceny, embezzlement, fraud, or theft from $5,000 up to $25,000 in insurance for you, to ensure you some protection of giving an individual a fair chance and second chance hiring. There's the myth out there, as I had said, it's just for the justice involved folks. It is not. If you have an individual you would like to give a chance, but there's maybe something on their credit record or they've never worked before, we can give you a insurance bond to protect you from specifically larceny, embezzlement, fraud, and theft. Minimum age, if it's a 16-year-old, they're never worked before, they'll be handling diamonds as an analogy, or they never handled money before, and you would like some protection through a fair chance hiring bond, we can provide that for you. You just call your human Google or your self-described Google. No paperwork. They'll take some information over the phone. We'll issue you your bond in the next 10 to 15 business days. It's part-time and full-time, part-time. The one requirement is the bond can only be issued once the employee is on your payroll, or federal taxes have to be deducted from the pay. In close, here's all our Berkshire email boxes for workforce services. I know I went really quick, Lisa. I need to slow down a little bit. But that's an overview of the Kentucky Career Center's Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This is, as you even said, a wealth of information, but in particular directly speaks to the challenge, of course, that our startups and early stage businesses have in oftentimes finding and attracting the great talent that they require in order to meet their growth objectives. So we very much appreciate all of the variety of different programs and resources your offices represent. In particular, I noted that the Kentucky Stats Division provides available employment information. That, of course, is going to be very helpful for us in understanding among our startup companies the job creation numbers within each of our regions, which is something that we are very keenly tracking and looking to report on. So thank you for mentioning that. For everyone here today, of course, I will place Michelle's presentation in Slack for you, so you can go back and use that as a resource, and her contacts, links to various different elements of the program she discussed. And then finally, I do want to thank Christine McNeil for getting us connected so that I too could learn more about all of the opportunities and programs that the Kentucky Career Centers provide. So thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate that. I did not see any further questions in chat, but I know that folks will have the ability to go back and access your information. So thank you for that. All right. Now, while I have Monica, who represents the Grow West Hub and specifically is the Executive Director for Grow West and Sprocket Innovation, I will stop my share. She's going to pull up her slides so that she can give us a hub update. And while Monica is doing that, I want to take just a minute to congratulate Monique Quarterman. I've had the opportunity to work with her just ever so briefly with KSTC as she has led the Kentucky Commercialization Ventures initiative, and she and her team do an amazing job, of course, with connecting innovation within the universities to a wide variety of resources that they require, as well as connecting those academic researchers and entrepreneurs to industry, as well as to other startup partners around the state. So while I know the team will be very sad for Monique's departure, I am absolutely elated and thrilled beyond belief to have her come on over to our hub family and join the Kentucky Innovation Division of the Cabinet. And so I am so thrilled for that. It is a win-win all around. So this is a great new chapter for all of us, and such a wonderful leader that we will embrace wholeheartedly. So congratulations and welcome, Monique. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Monica to talk to us a little bit about what's happening with Grow West.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. And yes, congrats, Monique. That's awesome. So happy for you. I think we came on about the same time too. So this is really nice to see. So what I want to just do real quick is, and I won't be long, you guys, but I wanted to just share some things that are going on over here in West Kentucky. And this is actually a really cool women's conference that Madisonville is hosting. And Jessica Young is going to be their speaker. She is the owner of 3 manufacturing companies and all kinds of awards for women in business. So if you'd like, I think Ruth Ann is going to post the link in the chat to sign up for this cool event. And I think there's like over 200 women that attend. And anyway, it ends up being a really neat way to network with women in business across West Kentucky. All right. Well, let's see, there we go. And then also, Kobe is going to stick something in the chat for you guys. We're going to host an entrepreneur roundtable to meet our three first 50K winners. And that will be March 22nd at noon. We're providing lunch. So Kobe, if you don't mind sticking a link to that in the chat as well, we'd love to see you guys. And what I just wanted to do is give you guys a sense of what we're doing over here in the far west of the state and kind of what is the method to our madness. We started working with a group out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. They had been doing some research with the Delta Regional Authority, and it was a multi-year study, and found that 92% of net new jobs were created from young companies, young being 1 to 5 years. And this was all across the Delta region. So these were just smaller towns like ours in very similar economic conditions. With that, we decided we're going to focus our strategy on the 92% and leave the 8% to someone else. And so that's really been our driving focus is business startup programs, because we know that's going to generate jobs, and tech training, because we know that we need to get people in a position where they can have these high wage jobs in high growth companies. So when you look at our full model, it kind of looks like this little octopus here. And I think we've been using this since we started, and we just kind of stick to it. But talent development, we have 2 different programs. We do something called Youth Coding League. So far, we've had over 200 kids just in Paducah alone that have been exposed to coding programs and training, and they do it in a kind of like a sporting event. They form teams within their schools, but then they have national championships. So there's about 11 states involved right now. And this is an amazing, they work on sprints. So they do these 6-week sprints to complete their task. And each school that participates has actual coaching from outside, and all the code is scored by actual software developers. So it becomes a really highly technical, it can be, and really educational, but super fun way. At the end of the season, there's a big, well, with COVID, we weren't able to do it, but kind of an unboxing of awards for youth all over. The other program that we have is called Adult Code Labs, and that's our software development training. We had over 50 participants in this program since we started. We received funds for this through the Department of Labor and the Delta Regional Authority, and we have 1 more year where we can offer this. And so, of course, we're looking for more grant money so we can keep pushing this initiative. On the other bottom left side is our Innovation Challenge, and that's a company creation initiative. We're going to call it the Cultivator this year, but we haven't rolled out the new logo. With that, we had 20 applicants, took 5, and then we had 3 investor-worthy companies come out of that. And 1 is already launched, and 1 just went through customer discovery and is finishing up his MVP, and then we'll launch, and then we've got another one that's still in development. With that, we're trying to create an investment fund so that we can actually get these folks to be able to pitch, get money to build out their tech stack even further. We'd love to do 2 of these a year. So far, I've just got funding for 1, but I'd love to see us, get 10 companies a year out of our accelerator program. And then at the bottom right is just our first 50K. And that's where we put a call on F Success, the platform for entrepreneurs and opportunities. And we're hoping to take 3 more. We give $50,000 non-equity grants to small businesses. One of our businesses has already decided to stay in Kentucky. She's bought 2 pieces of property. She's got her business opening, and it's fantastic. So we're really excited about the return on investment with this so far. And that's kind of the whole nut. Other things that happen in rural communities is the need for broadband and a rigorous K through 12 program. So that is something that we've been able to work out with Dr. Michael Ramage at Murray State, who is really specialized in how to help communities get connected. And then we have another project that came out of a Work Ready initiative a few years ago called the Paducah Innovation Hub, where we have high-tech training for students in the vocational setting. So that's kind of our deal. That's what we're doing. Just thought we'd show you, share what we're doing. Please reach out, be a part of any of it. And all of this, honestly, is made possible because of Kentucky Innovation. So we're super happy about it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica. In particular, I really appreciate that you have shared with us, whether it's in an urban environment or in this case, a more rural environment, you are still embracing partners, you're embracing digital access, you're embracing tech, and bringing that to your community, whether that's at the early elementary, middle school, high school stage, all the way through to your startup clients and meeting their needs, including not only coding talent, but as well funding, a variety of early stage funding sources there. Your First 50K program is amazing. And I certainly love the very, very strong partnership that you have with Codify to bring all of that to the Paducah and the Western Kentucky region. So thank you for your leadership and all that you do, and literally sharing with us a very integrated strategic plan. I do appreciate that. So nice update. Thank you.
Thanks.
I have just one more item to share with folks. We'll get to that. And that's just a couple of date reminders that I want to make sure everybody is aware of. Whoops, I'm sorry. Let's try this again. There we go. As most everybody knows, we are in the throes of marching toward next week, Thursday, March 24th, for celebration of Kentucky Entrepreneurship Day. And as you heard earlier, we have a lot of networking planned with our regional legislators between the hubs, as well as proclamations and remarks and celebration. And then, of course, I will work with the leaders of the innovation hubs for our quarterly in-person meetings. So Thursday, March 24th, starting at 10 Eastern Time in Frankfurt. I have two save the dates for you. The next Innovation Hub quarterly update, which is in webinar format, is scheduled for Wednesday, April 13th at 10 Eastern Time. This is where we have the opportunity to hear from each of our hub leaders as they discuss their results to date and some additional event highlights and what's coming up. And then finally, save the date for this particular monthly ESO webinar. The next date will be Tuesday, April 19th at 10 Eastern Time, and we will gather back for another resource presentation and another hub highlight. So with that, we have covered everything. We again thank Tony for all of his leadership and service to us. And of course, we welcome Monique. Very exciting news. So everyone have a great day. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week at Entrepreneurship Day. Take care.